Okay, so let's do Kitzer of last week's mimer. So the summary, simply put, is the Klipa of Midian is identified with strife and baseless hatred. Klipas Midian Inyan Idyana Madain Vesinas Chinam. Zion Yonois Zion Midois Paratsios. So the seven Canaanite nations represent the seven specific midos in the realm of Klipa. But the thing is, the Klipa of Midian is worse. The country that we had to go to war with was worse because they represent the whole idea of strife, the whole idea of baseless hatred. Like they're like, hey, I see a guy across the street, let's go start a fight with him. Like they hate somebody just for no reason. They just bring up a fight just because they can.
Yeah,
Well,
they just talk about non-kosher food for no reason.
we had
Like
no
non-kosher food.
reason to do that. It's baseless hatred.
How's Rabbi Friedman?
He misses you. He asked me about you the other day. He said, "Where's
And you know
Stewie?"
what? I wrote to the Rebbe.
He's
I was
mad. He's mad. He lost his.
I was having Stu. I'm gonna mute you just because I can't even hear what you're saying. It's just staticky.
Staticky.
Oh, you heard Rabbi Friedman lost his Chabad house.
Yeah, very sad.
Baruch Hashem.
Arula bought it. Arula gave him $500. You heard?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Yisroel is going out with an Ethiopian girl.
Okay, we're not gonna speak any Lashon horror on there.
In 10 minutes, we're gonna give Stewie time to talk. Okay, in 10 minutes, Stewie, in 10 minutes, you get to talk.
Okay.
Okay?
Anyways, I wanted to speak about something about the Rebbe just because I was having a little bit of issues in my life.
You basically give up on it.
I had a little bit of a machlekes in my area. I'm not going to get into details because I'm not speaking Lashon Hora. And I wrote to the Rebbe about it. And the Rebbe specifically spoke in the letter, not just I should keep teaching Torah and keep doing chinuch and keep this YouTube channel up and going, but the Rebbe said that we need to work on our Ahavas Yisroel. That the students of Rabbi Akiva had a plague where many of the students were killed because of baseless hatred. I don't know if the Rebbe was talking. I mean, my situation wasn't about baseless hatred. It was just an argument that we worked out. Whereas Rabbi Akiva's students had baseless hatred, and I'm wondering if the Rebbe mentioned it for this class or if he was mentioning it for my own personal agenda. I think it could be a little bit of both, but because everybody could always increase in their Ahavas Yisrael. But the main thing I think the Rebbe wanted to mention in the Igros Kodesh that I could relate to everybody else, that baseless hatred caused the death of all the students of, not all, but many students of Rabbi Akiva, and therefore from the time of Pesach until Shavuos, you have all these things that you're forbidden to do for the mourning period of the students. Because baseless hatred is terrible. Now we're going to start chapter 4 of the Mimer Heichaltzu, which was the Rebbe Rashab's Mimer in the year 5659. We're now doing chapter 4. In the previous chapter, wait, did we do chapter 4? Yeah, we did. We did chapter 2 and 3. In the previous chapter, the Rebbe Rashab elaborated on the idea that Midian is identified with strife and disunity, explaining its source in the realm of Tohu. In the present chapter, he focuses on the manner in which the qualities associated with Midian are reflected in our own characters. V'zehu ma sheklipas Midian hu sinas chinas davka. The klipa of Midian, that is baseless hatred that has no specific reason. Shehasina eina mitzad ezeh piratz shegares Shigarim loy eze ra'a oy shehu minaged loy be'eze pirutz. It is not aroused because one has been harmed or opposed by another person in any particular way. See, that's why I don't think the Rebbe was speaking about me, because there was people that felt harmed in.
What? You called me? Josh, you said my name?
No.
Okay, fine.
I said my situation when I wrote, are you the Rebbe? When the Rebbe was speaking to me in the letter, he was talking about baseless hatred. But my situation was more of, I had a situation and I wrote to him and whatever. He just said, in order to combat uh, this baseless hatred or to increase one's Ahavas Yisroel, one needs to learn more Torah. So that's the main thing you learn from this, from the Rebbe, is whether you have baseless hatred or you have Ahavas Yisroel stemming from the seven nations of Canaan, the Klipos of the worlds. If you learn Torah, wherever the source of your anger or your lack of Ahavas Yisrael is, if you learn Torah, it can help you to love your fellow Jew better. And giving tzedaka helps, loving your fellow Jew. But to do this, you have to learn more Torah. Without learning Torah, you don't know how to behave properly. That's why I'd recommend people to learn about Derech Eretz as well, even if you think you know about it. Okay. She'az haisa hasina tilui ke'eze mida peratzi. Were the hatred to have a specific cause, it would be dependent on a specific attribute. Therefore, it would have been one of the seven nations of Canaan. Ve'eze miklipas midyan bifrutz, and would not be considered a result of the klipa of Midian specifically. Ki'ima shenafal bishviras hakelim mimidas hagburois toihu. After I finish this page, too, we can talk. Instead, the feelings of hatred stem from the attribute of might, gevura of tohu, which is in a fallen state due to the shattering of the vessels. I got two little paragraphs. As mentioned in the previous chapter, in the source, the attributes of tohu were holy without any negative orientation. However, the shattering of the vessels highlighted their self-orientation and allowed for the possibility of klipa gaining a foothold. Gevura, translated as might, refers to the ability to summon up inner power. In that way, it differs from koyach, power, which is often translated as strength. Our sages state, who is a mighty man? One who conquers his natural inclination. That's in Pirkei Avos. Avos, chapter 4, halacha 1, it says. Inner might is necessary to summon up the power to say no to one's natural wants and desires. The exercise of this might is associated with control and judgment. Ideally, exercising one's control and judgment should be focused on his own energies and not on another person's. So when you have judgment, you should try to judge yourself. You should try to fix your own yetzer, or not be focused on someone else's evil inclination. However, due to this descent caused by the shattering of the vessels, one judges another person and not himself. Moreover, when that other person does not measure up on the scales of judgment, the attribute of might could lead to feelings. Okay, now it's time for the 5-minute Stewie show, if he's still here, or did he leave? Huh? Yeah. Does anybody have anything to say so far?
Yeah, what's this whole thing about Kalipa you keep talking about? The world doesn't exist. How can you have Kalipa?
No, this klipa Klipa is the impure
But it's not
impurity.
reality. You said before it was not reality, so why you say now it's reality? That's what I don't understand.
It's not true reality. It's opposing the truth of Hashem. Hashem has the kedusha, which is the truth, and klipa is not completely true. It's opposing Hashem. So the whole idea is that we have to choose life. We have to choose the Torah mitzvahs. We have to have love for one another, fellow Jew. We have to be besimcha, all these good things that are kedusha. We have to be happy in serving Hashem. That's the other thing. It's a whole other thing, but it relates to being to Ahavas Yisroel, because
I'm gonna give him some.
when one is happy, he is able to do Torah mitzvahs. Nevertheless, like when Shabbos comes by, Rabbi Yehuda Freeman, we have to be happy davening and eating for the sake of for Shabbos, and we have to be happy at a farbrengen and learning Torah and davening. We shouldn't be happy go to a bar with a bunch of goyim and drive on Shabbos and stuff, like to watch the game. That's not proper happiness. When we need to increase in happiness, we need to do happiness for holiness and happily love your fellow Jew. When you're happy, you'll have the strength and vigor to love your fellow Jew. You'll have the vigor to daven to Hashem. You'll have all the proper koyach and energy to do all the mitzvahs. But you have to have happy from the proper source. And how do you get happy from the proper source? You learn Torah. And right now we're learning to love your fellow Jew. Can I go further? Can I go forward now?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're talking about the opposite.
First say welcome, Abba. Here, Mendel. You want some
Welcome
more?
Abba, and I don't know who Jaman is, but welcome him too.
Jaman.
Who's
That means
Jaman?
God man. Jaman means the man with God.
Jaman. Do I know this guy?
What do you mean? He's the guy who is your roommate.
No, he isn't. That's Aaron. Oh wait, is that
Jaman is Aaron.
No, it isn't.
Yeah,
Aaron's Resistikill. That might be what's his name? Steven and his kid. Okay. Shehu and we just lost somebody, whatever. There's a whole thing in the Pirkei Avos that talks about how even if one person were learning, Hashem calls out to him. So there is a mila of about 3, and 3 people we can have a mazumin. So there's still a mila, and hopefully more people will join us later. Shehu hakas behasina al minagdoi chuli, of anger and hatred toward an opponent. Let me go back. Instead, the feelings of hatred stem from attribute of might gevura of tohu, which is in fallen state due to the shattering of the vessels of anger and hatred toward an opponent. Wow, so anger and hatred. See, it was relevant. I was talking about happiness. Anger is the opposite. Anger could only lead to destructive behavior and hatred, of course. Because that person opposes him. He responds negatively, quarreling and contending with him. This is an undesirable quality, but does not stem directly from the klipa of Midian. Avo inyan hamadoin v'hariv v'hasina di klipas Midian. The strife, contention, and hatred that stems from the klipa of Midian. Eino mitzad eze prat, does not arise from any specific point. Hey, Chaim, you want to say something about this in another 5-10 minutes or so?
Maybe.
Okay.
Trying to put my kids to sleep, but I'm listening.
Ki mipnei she'enoi yachol lisboil ezu lasoy, but rather from the ability of one person to tolerate another. See, the problem with Midian is he just can't tolerate the other person. He has no room for the other person. He doesn't make space for him. Gam shelo yadoy kalol v'lo haya lo shum masam umatan imoy chuli. Even if he does not know him and has never had any dealings with him, he finds it impossible to unite with him. In the previous instance, the strife arose because of a specific cause, the strife that results from the klipa of Midian by contrast. See, you know, all these people that hated people just because they were black, or just because they were white, that's the klipa of Midian. Just because someone's skin color, that's not a real reason to hate them. You just don't give them any space. You don't want them to be in your space. That's complete Midian klipa. For all those woke people, racism in this world, hating somebody because they're Jewish, because they're this, because they're that.
Hey, don't make fun of the woke.
Hating somebody because they are different from you and not for a real tangible reason is the klipa of Midian. And Hashem wants us to kill it. Basically. Maybe I'd say for our time, not to kill people that are different or that are indifferent to others, but to kill that attribute. We should teach people the light of the Torah and bring love within each person, so that way the attribute of Midian won't exist. As the Frierdiker Rebbe said in the introduction to this mimer, you can't chase off darkness with a stick. So what does one have to do? He has to add more light. So gam shelo yadoy klo v'lo haya lo shum masam umata imoy chuli. Even if he does not know him and he has never had any dealings with him, he finds it impossible to unite with him. In the previous instance, the strife arose because of a specific cause. The strife that results from the klipa of Midian, by contrast, bezehu hanikra sheni sinas chinam, is what is called baseless hatred. There's no true reason. Shehush soine oisoi chinam aloi devar chuli. One person hates another for no reason. At times, this hatred settles on a specific point. An example, a person will feel that he has a reason to explain his hatred for his fellow man. In reality, however, this is only a rationalization that follows the fact. The specific reasons are not the actual cause of the hatred. It is only that he found a pretext or a false charge to justify himself before others. Welcome, Menachem Mordechai, my fellow Chavrusa for Tanya today.
Hello.
So you see what's going on here? Basically, people with the klipa of Midian will...
Mark there, everybody. Our main man.
So Mark,
I expected after 3 hours of learning with Josh, you would take a break.
It was fantastic.
90. It was 90 minutes. I didn't post a video because my phone almost died and I needed energy for the next class. So while I'm sleeping, I'm going to post both videos, and who knows how long it'll take. I got slow internet.
Yeah. It takes a long time. I posted a video today for a client. Wow.
And you probably have better internet, right?
But you know what? I checked my download was amazing. It was 300, but here my upload was only 6. Do you know how disastrous that is?
My upload is better. My upload is faster than yours over here.
That's what I'm saying. I couldn't believe it. I was
My
like,
upload is like 10.
I'm gonna have to switch services. I'm gonna take the 5G. It's faster.
Anyways, what you missed before by coming just now, Bekitzer and simplicity. Midian represents the klipa of strife. It's whereas the 7 nations of Canaan all have their own individual separate klipa. But Midian is baseless hatred for no reason. You just hate somebody, and there isn't a reason. And right now, it's going to tell you that people with this klipa will rationalize. They'll come up with an excuse, but it's only to justify themselves before others, and it's not actually true. They really have baseless hatred. Back in the days, or even sometimes today, when people hate somebody for their skin color or for their religion or whatever, people that hate Jews for no reason, just because they're Jewish, that's baseless hatred, and it's from the stem of Midian. And what does Hashem want us to do? In this mimer, the nation of Midian, he wants us to kill them. In reality, today, I'd say today you teach the world with love and increase in kindness and destroy the attribute of baseless hatred. We're not supposed to be at war right now. We're supposed to be at peace with Mashiach and all that. So we're supposed to add light and love and open up people's hearts so they can get rid of their klipa, and we daven that Hashem will remove the evil within them. We're not here to be murdering people. That's not our job. But back in the days with Moshe Rabbeinu, yeah, we killed him. Moshe literally went up to Og just before this parsha here. I was learning last Shabbos in the Kahos Chumash. I was learning that from commentary of Rebbe that Og picked up a mountain to throw it over the Jewish people, but there was ants that dug a hole inside of it, and Moshe picked up his axe. He put the axe right in that hole that the ants dug, and he hit Og in the foot and killed him. So it's literally back in the days, we were literally killing our enemies, but now we just have to kill the Yetzer Hara. We have to transform the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, and try to be a Beinoni at first. And if we're lucky and we merit it, we can become a tzaddik. Okay.
Is Og Austrian or German? Sorry.
That's funny though. Siba he hayeshu.
Everybody in Crown Heights left for Sunday. I don't know why. They all left to upstate. There's nobody here in the whole city. It's like empty parking spot in every block. Hundreds of parking spots.
It's like that in Baal Park, I heard too. Everybody just went to the country.
I don't know. It's like nobody in 770. It's like almost empty.
It's all of Brooklyn. It's crazy.
I don't know what happened. All of a sudden,
I know what happened. The Hasidim is so rich now, they can have their country homes.
Who's so rich?
The Hasidim, they're so rich, they have their country homes now. It's amazing.
Because of Corona, they made so much money.
Yeah, exactly.
If you guys are so rich, maybe someone could help me get to a Jewish community. I don't even need a rich life. I just need a rich spiritual life.
And I need somebody to buy me a house. I can have a normal place to live instead of a 1-bedroom with 10 kids. But life is not fair.
Yeah, but you're gonna get that soon. So it's almost there.
Yeah, I believe in it. I could get it. I just need the motivation.
No, it's not about it for you. It's not. But you're doing all this.
Hey, Chaim, why don't you move your big family over to Pueblo and we open up the first Chabad house in Pueblo?
Because there's nothing to do in Pueblo for me. For you, there's something. For me, I need to be in a place where there's crazy amount of people.
Yeah. You need a community where there's just you need Syracuse in the next 5 years. The whole downtown is going to be Hasidim. I'm telling you.
Sure, because the Hasidim work from home now.
I know, that's why Syracuse is perfect. You can get to all the places on the East Coast, all the family members that are still.
Nobody's buying real estate in the city anymore. Everybody's buying real estate upstate. There's no reason to buy real estate in the city.
Did I tell you did I tell you that some Satmar group just paid $200 million for a property in South Salina in Syracuse? That's the
Yeah, I heard they're all buying. The summer guy told me they're all buying up Jersey. They're buying up.
They get so much.
Upstate New York.
So can some summer guy buy a place that and get me a place that's affordable living, not trying to rate me in the price?
That's a dream come true.
You need to get qualified for Section 8 in New York. That's the truth. You probably could.
First of all, he could easily apply in Syracuse. Mark, you should get an application for him. It's very easy to get.
Yeah,
they got housing vouchers in Syracuse every year. Every year they have a housing a lottery.
Oh, see that? You got to get on that list, because from here, I mean, you could at least have your minion. And with you, I'm telling you, we one step closer to turning that into Chabad. Plus, they just printed the Tanya there at the shul here.
Could somebody give me a place? Could somebody give me a place to stay till it gets official?
No, but you could rent something here. I don't.
I'm saying I have my limited income. Could somebody give me a place with the limited income I have, my 900?
What I'm saying is, you could get a place. You could rent a place for $500 a month here. It's not in the greatest place, but it's walking distance to places. But you're used to Brooklyn. It's not bad either.
Is it walking distance to a shul?
Sure, it's just a little bit of a distance, but you get in great shape. I can tell you that.
How far of a distance would it be?
I would say, actually, it's not that far, because I forgot it's straight down Thompson. It's actually close. I forgot the shul is close to those areas. I forgot, because you just go straight across Erie Boulevard to Thompson.
And what's the deal with kosher food and groceries and all that?
Well, we have meats. We can get Glatt kosher meats at Wegmans and at Trader Joe's. And then the only problem is Hall of Israel. But usually what we do is, like, we just tell each other when one of us is in Brooklyn, and we bring a bunch of bilk back, and everybody freezes it.
So if I moved over there, I could talk to you guys, and you guys would help me out?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be great, because I'm telling you, it's going to be taken over very soon. I'm telling you.
But I also want to be able to do my chazanas and stuff. Like, I like to sing in my davening and all that.
Oh, well, you know what? I'm telling you, one more person who's Chabad, that shul is getting closed.
The rabbi over there wouldn't let you sing too much.
Oh, not Rabbi Rappaport, no. But
not that type. I daven for, I do chazanas for Rabbi Rappaport all the time. He doesn't like shtick. He tells me, daven like a mensch, he tells me.
Yeah, exactly.
My minion all the time in 770 when he comes.
Yeah.
He always tells me, daven like a mensch.
Ha.
Okay, we're going to talk about this later. I want to continue the share, though.
All right, go ahead. Go. Sorry.
You sure? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, man.
Why don't you call me after the class, talk to me in private. I might have something for you.
All right, no problem. Oh, that's Shachar.
Okay. All right.
Oh, John, man, is Shachar. Yeah. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
That was like a mystery for the wildest of times. Okay. Shehu chashuv be'einei atzmoi. He is important in his own eyes. Uvichlo inyan hayeshus behargashes atzmoi, included in the concept of yeshus and self-concern. Shemargish es atzmoi me'oid bechol piratz ufratz sheloi huli, and the fact that the person's feelings of self-concern dominates every particular aspect of his life. You know what? It's funny. There was this term. I know it was called by me, and I didn't agree with it. Just because I could be argumentative sometimes, and I'm not always going to accept what everybody tells me.
Yeah.
But it's not for the sake of this reason. But this thing right here is a major characteristic of narcissism. Someone that only thinks about himself, and he wants to care about his looks, and he has to be the leader, and he has to take the Amid, and he has to have the high power like Korach. Korach was a big narcissist. But on a Hasidic level, if you think about Korach, he was also a Mishachist. Korach said, why can't we all be leaders? Why can't we all Why can't everybody be leaders since we all do mitzvahs? What is Korach referring to when he says this? When Mashiach comes, every single Jew will all be a leader. We will all be rabbis. So what did Korach truly want? He wanted Mashiach right then and there. That's if you really think about it. That's on a
That's
deeper.
a great point.
That's on a deeper level, though.
That is.
And a narcissist wants everything good. Why? Somebody that wants everything good for himself, he wants everything good for others as well. I think it's somebody that he really wants Mashiach to such an extent that he has a mental illness and he can't think about anything but his own needs. But he really wants Mashiach. Like, he wants everything to be perfect. Nevertheless, it's still lacking because with Mashiach, everybody's got to be bittul to Hashem, and they have to have a Ahavas Yisroel, and they have to be achdus. They have to leave space for others. So on one hand, Mashiach, everything is good for them, but on the other hand, there's room for others. That's the beauty of Hashem. He wants everything good for everybody. And trust me, people are wondering what's going to happen when Mashiach comes. Women are having babies every day, and they're going to be full grown. Will there be any room for them? You think Hashem can't make a bigger world? You think Hashem can't make more planets? We already know these 9 planets that are out there. You're telling me Hashem can't make them bigger or make more planets? There probably is aliens serving Hashem for all we know.
You can just make it smaller,
we have to serve Hashem here.
You can make it smaller.
Hashem can make it smaller and still have enough room, like the Kadosh Kadoshim.
Hashem says that we are the only chosen nation. There's no other chosen nation on another planet. There could be other creatures that serve Hashem, but we're the only Jewish people. There's no other Jewish people.
But when Mashiach comes, they're all going to serve Hashem. All flesh will serve Hashem. That means all the nations, even of other planets, they won't be the Jewish people, the pride and joy, but they'll be at a holier level, and they'll just be our servants. We need more servants because there's going to be so many Jewish babies. Just got to have it on other planets. Okay. Shemargish es atzmoi me'oid bechol peratz ufratz sheloi chuli. So the problem is someone has feelings of self-concern, dominates every particular aspect of his life. V'lachein einoi yachol lisboil es hazulas chuli. This is why he cannot tolerate another. Mipnei hayeshus sheloi einoi. Noisein makoin lazu lasoy. Because of his yeshus, he does not leave room for anyone else. Dehazulas behechrach mema'et mitziyu soy. It compels him, as it were, to view another's existence as detracting from his own. V'lechein einoi yachol lisboil oisoy. Therefore, he cannot tolerate that person. Nimsa di ikar hasiba hu hayeshus sheloi she'al yedei zeh nase loi hazulas limnaged. Thus, it's primarily his own yeshus that leads him to view another person as an opponent. Really, someone's actually your friend and he wants to help you out. Like a rabbi gives you a little mussar because, maybe you're not behaving right. It happened to me plenty of times. But he's not doing it because he hates me. He's doing it because he's trying to make me be a better Jew. And if you look at it, the rabbi's trying to help you, then that's bitzel. It's growing. That's what it's all intended for. But if you're thinking only about yourself and your pride and your ego, then you're not going to listen to what the rabbi's telling you and you'll never grow. The concept explained here is illustrated by a well-known story. A Torah scholar once complained to the Tzemach Tzedek that his colleagues were not treating him with due respect. Wherever I move about in the house of study, people always tread on me. I think this was HaYom Yom. The Tzemach Tzedek replied, when you have spread yourself out over the whole house of study, someone will be treading on you wherever you step. When a person is preoccupied with self-concern, he will not find a place for others and will constantly view them as intruding upon him. He's nagdus enoi shem naged loy be'ezet pirot ki'im bima shehu nimsa. His opposition to the other person is not to specific factor. Instead, he sees him as as challenging his entire existence. Div ze shenimsa mitziu soy hare hu mima'et hayeshu shelohi. The mere existence of another person detracts from his yeshus. Uvzehu menaged loy, and prompts him to view others as opponents. Ve'eino yachol lisav loy chuli, making it impossible for him to tolerate them. Uvisitra dikdusha diikaroihu bitzel. In contrast, the realm of holiness is characterized by bitzel, self-effacement.
Hello,
Oh, we only have like a page and a half left. So, Binyamin, basically, we're learning that just now, a quick synopsis, someone that doesn't have Ahavas Yisroel is because he has baseless hatred and he has so much of his self-concern that he makes no room for other people. That's the chapter in a nutshell. There's a whole bunch of other things, but that's the easiest way I could sum it up. Rabbi Peel, could you sum up what I said a little better than what I did? I'm just a simple Jew.
No, I was busy putting my kids to sleep. Sorry.
Basically, I was telling Binyamin that the mimer is saying that the main Indian is the whole idea of lack of Ahavas Yisroel from the stem of Midian is from baseless hatred, because you have so much existence taking up space that you leave no room for other people, and you need to have a little more bittul hagesh. That's basically what it's saying. So am I saying the right thing or am I off? Okay.
Seems good to me.
Okay.
Seems like the right thing.
Okay. So, I don't really know so much. I'm just saying what's inside the book. I'm not a big rabbi like Rabbi Manis Freeman that just gives over a beautiful drasha for 2 hours. I read what's inside. Whatever's in here is from Sichos in English, and they're printing out what the Rebbe Rashab said. So right now, I'm learning with the Rebbe Rashab.
What? No, I didn't know you glanced my way. What was going on? No, you glanced my way. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know. Okay, have a good night.
Okay.
Take care.
As the Alter Rebbe states in Tanya, the realm of holiness, Kedusha, encompasses only entities upon which the holiness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Holy One, blessed be He, rests and can be extended to. And He rests only on such entities that are butzel to Him. Someone that's too full of himself, the Abishter cannot rest upon. Well, he doesn't choose to rest upon anyways. The Abishter can do whatever he wants. When an entity is concerned with itself, it closes itself off to godliness. Conversely, by rising above self-concern, it or he leave place for him. So, someone has to have humility and leave space within his head, within his heart, so that way Hashem can enter within him. Harehu bivichinas yichud behis kalus, and hence by oneness and synergy. Deliyos shehu bivichinas bitzel, because one's attitude is one of bitzel, humility, humbleness. Harehu noisein makoim el hazulas, he leaves room for others. The inyan mashe noisein makoim hainu, by saying he leaves room for others, we mean shehu mikabel es hazulas umisacher imoy chuli. He accepts them and becomes one with them. When a person's mindset is characterized by bitzel, like the humility, the emptiness one has with matzah, the level of matzah, as opposed to bread, which is upliftedness. when a person's mindset is characterized by bitzel, he has a space within his mind to appreciate the positive quality that every person possesses, and appreciates how that person has a role to play in creating God's dwelling in our world. As a result, he seeks to become one with them. Nimsa div sitra achra. Thus, in the sitra achra, the realm of evil, mitzad hayeshus, noisei makim lezu lasoim. Because of Yeshus, a person leaves no room for others. Behu minaged loy bazeh shehu nimsa, opposing them because of their very existence. Bezehu sibas haperud she'eno yachol lesavloy. This is the reason for divisiveness and intolerance. Uvi sitra kedusha mitzad habitzel. By contrast, in the realm of holiness, because of bitzel, hu noisein makoim el hazulas shemikabel oisoi umisacher imoy chuli. A person who leaves room for others, accepts them, unites with them, and relates with them harmoniously. So if somebody has bitzel, there's room for others. He accepts them. There's a unification. Everything is harmonious. Kitzur, summary. Si naschinam, sibasa, hayeshus. The cause of baseless hatred. An example, hatred that is not motivated by any genuine reason is Yeshus. Hapraktim behatamim ba'im achar kach. The details and rationalizations for the person's hatred follows only afterwards. So that was something else I brought up in here. People that have baseless hatred, they'll make a whole balagan crazy drama, and then they'll rationalize why everything that they did is okay just because they're trying to lift themselves up so people don't bring them down for their bad behavior. They're trying to do this so they can appear right in the eyes of others. But truthfully, they're only coming up with these excuses to rationalize for the baseless hatred they begin to have in the first place. This Yeshus has its roots in the klipa of Midian that is sourced in the self-orientation of the realm of Tohu. The opposite of this approach is the bitzel that characterizes the realm of holiness. Tohu is when everything goes chaos, out of energy that is craziness, like it's the smashing of the vessels. And with the Tohu of Midian is when the strife caused the shattering of the vessels. The strife was the cause and the root source of the Tohu, which caused all the 7 levels of klipa, the 7 levels of unholiness of Canaan that has individual reasons of hatred to break forth. So Midian was literally the source. It was the root source of all the vessels breaking, if you can understand what I'm talking about. This Yeshus in the klipa of Midian that is sourced in the self-orientation of the realm of Tohu. The opposite of the approach is bitzel that characterizes the realm of holiness. A person leaves room for others, accepting them and relating harmoniously with them. Does anybody have anything to say in this realm of Achdus and Ahavas Yisroel? How about this? The few people that are here, anybody want to relate to something good they did to love their fellow Jew? Hey, Benjamin, I know you're full of mitzvahs.
Yeah,
You're full of mitzvahs. Is there anything good you did for your fellow Jew recently?
I took my Rosh Yeshiva to shul tonight.
That's Ahavas Yisroel.
And no, I took him home from shul. I mean, yeah. It was a small mitzvah, but I did it.
Okay, something that I did in the past. I taught Sunday school for free. Teaching Torah for free even today, even all week, last week, I helped out my fellow Jew for free. Helping out, that's a Ahavas Yisrael. Rabbi P, who else is here? Hey, Menachem Mordechai. Oh, I can say something that he did, but you want to say something special you did? Menachem Mordechai?
I don't recall anything special that I've done. So
Just a
honestly,
mitzvah that you've done for another Jew.
I don't know. I have bad memory.
If you don't have one, I'm gonna list a couple of things that
No,
you
don't
did.
list a couple of things. Don't do it. Don't do it. Honestly, it doesn't matter. We got the point.
I know that you helped out Rabbi Peel in a big way, and I was impressed.
I did not help. No,
Yes.
don't please. I tried to please. No, don't say anything, please.
Okay.
Okay,
So
thank
I
you.
got another thing. Rabbi Menachem Mordechai did a bunch of mitzvahs, and he didn't want to get any credit for it. That's a higher level of Ahavas Yisrael. He did a bunch of things, and he didn't even say what he did. That's amazing. Rabbi Peel, did you do a special level of Ahavas Yisrael, or he left?
Yeah, it's
Rabbi Peel.
we know that's been happening.
Josh, how come you took over?
What?
How come you took over? How come you took over HaYom Peel's classes?
I'm not. I actually, I'm not really taking over. Sunday class and Thursday is my classes, and he helps me take over. He helps me with my classes. But the truth is, we collaborate. Like Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I will go to his classes and participate. And when one learns Torah, he's gonna engage back, and that's not taking over. It's just we're helping each other out. I help him, and he helps me. We're a partnership. I have a thing right here called Chabad of YouTube. By the way, I just finished the chapter. I don't know how you guys are holding with your time. I could go further on chapter 5, or I could at least show you guys the introduction. What will be the next 3 chapters? You guys want me to do the introduction without even going through the chapters? Just say what the next 3 chapters we're going to focus on?
Sure.
Okay, introduction to chapters 5 through 7. The Rebbe Rashab illustrates the concept of... Huh? Okay, the Rebbe Rashab illustrates the concept of unity amidst diversity by explaining the oneness that characterizes the soul and its powers. Although the soul comprises many different and even conflicting potentials, however, since they all emerge from the same core and are filtered through the influence of the mind, all of those soul powers function together as one with shared purpose. So if all our souls work together and we're all as one, that's Achdus, and guess what? That's Ahavas Yisrael. This concept is exemplified through the interrelation of the powers of Chachma and Bina. Chachma and Bina reflect opposing intellectual thrusts. Chachma involves the abstract conception of an idea, and that experience one becomes absorbed in the idea to the point that his sense of self is obscured. Bina, understanding, by contrast, internalizes the concept with one self. It seeks to define the concept, component by component, in the terms of one's existing intellectual framework. Nevertheless, despite this fundamental difference in nature, Chachma and Bina function in tandem, interrelating with each other and complementing one another. These explanations lay the backdrop for the fundamental premise of the mimer, further developed in later chapters, that differences between people need not be a cause for discord. Indeed, with a balanced mindset, it is precisely when each individual develops his own unique potential that people can complement one another and join hands as a united community. Like, for instance, what do they say was an argument for the sake of heaven? Beis Hillel and Beis Shammai, they completely had different ideas, but nevertheless, they respected each other as scholars, and that debate and that argument was for the sake of heaven, and it was good. But you know, we all know the arguments that lead to war and conflict and everything. If the argument is for the sake of heaven, it will never result in something bad. When Chachma and Bina go along, it's different ideas, but nevertheless, it's different ideas, but there's room for each other. You can have, for example, Menachem Mordechai can have an idea, and I can have an idea that's different, even doesn't seem to make sense, but because we don't have arrogance towards one another, we're going to view each other's opinions and respect what the other person says. That's true. That's what it's trying to accomplish right here.
There's a good chance too that the truth is that we actually have the same idea. We just have different perspectives on the situation. So
or with base like Base Hillel and Base Shammai, they're both correct just for different time periods.
Exactly.
Base Hillel is correct for Golis, and Base Shammai is correct for Mashiach. Okay. Wow, this is the first time I'm using HaYom Yom on my Kindle. It's pretty awesome. I want to do HaYom Yom. I didn't get to do it, so I want to see. I want to share with you guys. You guys may have done HaYom Yom, but I have the special HaYom Yom. It's called Tackling Life Tasks, and it has a story with it. That's why I like this one. Let's see. I go like this, and I have my little hand thing right here. See, one-handed.
Yeah.
Okay. Soon after he undertook the leadership of the Hasidic community, the Alter Rebbe delivered the following teaching. It is written, "A man's steps are made firm by God. When a Jew arrives at a particular place, this is for the purpose of doing a mitzvah, be it a mitzvah between man and man, or between man and God. A Jew is an agent of God above, and wherever an agent is, he derives his power from the sender. The superiority of souls over angels in this regard lies in the fact that God confers his agency to the souls through the Torah, probing beneath the surface. As the Rebbe Rashab observes, a person occasionally feels that something is drawing him in a specific direction. He does not know why he wants to go there, but he knows he wants to. What is the source of this motivation? Since he is destined from above to fulfill a particular divine intent in that place, God's will is now influencing his will, causing him to desire to go there. Maybe that's why I went to Pueblo. The above teaching asks us to acknowledge and accede to this dynamic. Doing so will empower us to carry out our uncharted mission more effectively, finding serendipity that enables us to accomplish far beyond whatever we could possibly have originally conceived. In the letter from which the above quoted teaching is taken, the Rebbe Rayatz relates how this teaching initiated a series of events that led one of the Alter Rebbe's Hasidim to redeem a Torah scroll that had been in the possession of the Gentiles for 3 years. If you guys are interested, I mean, the whole thing is about Ahavas Yisroel. What better way of... I just don't want to continue in the mimer because it's so deep and I don't want to get too much into it. But what better way of teaching about Ahavas Yisroel than reading a Baal ShemTov story?
Sure.
All right, I got the special edition that came just before Shabbos. It literally lit up my entire Shabbos.
All right.
You want to hear a special? You want to hear a special mitzvah about how two people got married basically because of their Ahavas Yisroel?
Yes.
By the way, this is like the third edition of the Baal ShemTov stories. It kind of looks like this. I remember Rabbi Peel's house. They had this design.
Mm-hmm.
Used to have that picture at his house. I don't know if he still has it. Okay. So it goes to the 7 wedding guests. No. I think it's this one. I'm going to go to page. I'm going to go to 41. I hope it's the right story. Okay. This might be your wrong story. If not, I'm going to tell the story Bekitzer if I'm telling the wrong story. And I know it's a story about wealth, but 7 wedding guests. Oh, this is it. Story number 2, the 7 wedding guests. This has to be it. The poor Jewish innkeeper was at the mercy of his harsh landlord. The latter had come to collect the rent, and when the Jew pleaded insolvency, the landlord suggested one last resort. You have not paid the yearly rent for the past few years. A debt of 400 rubles has accumulated, and I see no better prospect for the future. I have no choice but to imprison you and your family. I will give you one last chance, however, before sentencing you to death. You will be taken to the nearest city and put up to the marketplace on display. If any of your Jewish brethren have mercy on you and paid the debt in your stead, then you are a freed man. But if not, the landlord was true to his promise. But when he offered the debtor up for redemption at 400 rubles, none of the sympathetic spectators in the marketplace could produce such a huge sum. Just then, a common Jewish laborer happened to pass by. His heart was touched by the prisoner's unfortunate circumstances, but all of his savings only amounted to 150 rubles. You know, it was 400. He needed at least double that amount. Racking his brain for a solution, he suddenly recalled an orphan girl he knew who worked nearby in the home of some businessman. He hurried to her and explained the situation. This mitzvah is one which only presents itself rarely. We must take advantage of this opportunity, even though it means giving away our lifetime savings. The orphan girl listened to his impassioned words and agreed. Yes, you are right, she said happily. In our circumstances, there are few mitzvahs which we can perform. We are simple, unlearned people after all. We must truly rejoice that this chance has come our way. So they're going to give up all their money. You hear this? There's a Jew that's in prison, and the landlord's going to kill him if he doesn't come up with rent in like one day. And a laborer and an orphan girl are going to take all their money and become broke to save this guy's life.
Great.
So the orphan girl listened to his impassioned word. She said, we must truly rejoice that this chance has come our way. But now I have made a pauper of you, he said later. I feel the responsibility to provide for you. Come, let us go to a nearby town where my uncle lives. He will take care of us. Prepare me a large parcel of clothing fit for a chassan and kala, the Baal ShemTov instructed his household. I must be on my way shortly. So right around this time, the Baal ShemTov is saying, let's prepare a parcel of clothing fit for a chassan and kala.
Mm-hmm.
The Baal ShemTov instructed his household. I must be on my way shortly. The Baal ShemTov took his clothing and set forth in his wagon to a faraway inn. When he arrived at his destination, he was greeted warmly but distractedly by a worried innkeeper. The innkeeper's son had been missing for the past 2 days, but even an extensive search could not uncover his whereabouts. What can I do for you? He said respectfully. Make preparations for our wedding feast, the Baal ShemTov instructed. The innkeeper was soon bustling about and doing his best to accommodate the Baal ShemTov and provide his special request for his number, for he numbered among the best admirers. I'm saying best because they shorten it. The young orphan girl and her companion, the young man, pitched in the work, giving no thought for whom the celebration was being prepared. So these two people that just saved the life, giving up all their money, they were preparing for this wedding. The girl bustled about the kitchen, baking and cooking, while the young man helped set the tables and arrange chairs. Everything is all ready, the innkeeper finally announced to the Baal ShemTov. Fine, he replied. Do you have any guests staying presently at the inn? No one is here, he answered, except for yourself and 2 young servants who were staying for the night. They helped me prepare the meal. The Baal Center called the young people to him, gave them the parcels he had brought, and told them to change their clothing. They did as they were told and then sat down to wait. So basically, the Baal Center had them put on the gown for the chassan of the kala. Later on that evening, resplendent carriages drew up, from which 7 distinguished-looking men alighted. Who are these guests? The innkeeper wondered. And who is getting married here? They don't even know who's getting married. That's the funniest part about this. He knew the answer before long. The Baal Center instructed the young people to come forward, and he performed the ceremony, which made them man and wife. They went to a wedding. They didn't know who it was for, and it was theirs. The wedding meal followed. There were exactly 10 men for the minyan, the chassan, the innkeeper, the Baal Center, and the 7 unknown guests. Toward the end of the meal, the guests arose one by one and announced their gifts to the young people. The first, Avraham Avinu, presented them with the inn where the feast was being held. I offer them the barn and its oxen. Now that is Yitzchak, and then that announced Yitzchak Avinu. The third guest, Yaakov Avinu, presented them with the jewels belonging to the innkeeper's wife. Each guest in turn had something generous, if not surprising, to offer the newly married couple. They listened in silence and thinking it all to be some wedding jest. They just said, I'm going to give you this. Nothing really happened. It's like, it's all spiritual, Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. But they're hearing it and they're seeing it. The innkeeper heard the words as well, but his thoughts were elsewhere. With the missing son, and he too made no comment. He had previously organized searching parties to find the youth, but their latest reports had all been negative. The meal was completed without further event, and after benching, the distinguished guests disappeared into the darkness. On the following day, the young man took his leave in a wagon the innkeeper had been good enough to lend him. He was bound for the nearby town where his uncle lived, hoping that his uncle would help him establish his new household. Passing over a bridge along the way, he suddenly heard faint cries. He discovered basically they were still poor. The Ahavas said, I'll give you this, this, and this. They didn't really physically get it at that time. He's just driving by to his uncle's, and he discovers a young boy under the bridge, almost submerged in mud. The young man pulled and struggled with the mud until he finally succeeded in extracting the child from the quagmire. He cleaned him up. I think this is the innkeeper. The innkeeper is missing his son at the time, right? Where's my son? Where's my son?
Oh, yeah.
So he finds his boy. And he in the mud, and he succeeded in extracting the child from the quagmire. He cleaned him off, dried him, and bundled him up. When the lad had recovered some of his strength, he explained what had happened. I am the son of the innkeeper, who lives not far away. I fell over the bridge into this mud 3 days ago, and was steadily sucked down. Had you not come along, I would surely have died and left no trace. Take me home. I am sure that my father will reward you for your kindness. The young man turned the wagon around and headed back to the inn. As soon as the inn was in sight, the child jumped off the wagon and ran home. It was this kind man who saved me, he told his overjoyed father. Were it not for him, I would have drowned in the mud. No reward is great enough for him. You are right, my dear son. You are dearer to me than everything I have. As a reward, I will give this young man ownership of this inn. That was the blessing of Abraham. And I give him the barn and the oxen for a reward, the mother chimed in. That was the reward of Yitzchak. And I, said the elderly grandmother, will give him all my jewelry. And that's Yaakov. The young newlyweds lived many happy and prosperous years in the inn, knowing very well that their happiness was not due to the life they had saved. It was a reward for the mitzvah they had previously performed, that of redeeming prisoners. That's the end of the Baal Shem Tov story.
Wow.
These
Is that
stories,
the one
these stories are pretty awesome.
that was the one that you wanted to tell, correct?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
You don't think I told the wrong story, right?
Even if it wouldn't never be the wrong story. It'd be the story that was supposed to be told tonight.
This was a shidduch story and a parnasa story.
Yes. And notice that the parnasa came the second the shidduch happened.
Actually, if you want to get technical, the shidduch happened as soon as they gave tzedoka.
Yeah.
They redeemed as it said in the very end. I know I told you that the parnasa comes through the shidduch, but through the wife. But let's not forget the very beginning, which merits it for the shidduch to happen, which was they both took all their money, went broke, and they redeemed somebody. So through tzedakah, everything else came in.
Exactly.
So when everybody here goes and helps out Chabad of Crown Heights or Chabad of YouTube, and if anyone's watching from Colorado Springs, Rabbi Boaz Chabad of Colorado Springs, and anyone that you're helping, doesn't even have to be a rabbi. If you help out another in need, if you're helping yourself more than the one that's receiving the money. Which is partly why I'm not charging anybody to teach. I'll do it for free. As long as Hashem keeps taking care of me, why do I care if I have extra money, you know?
You should when you're shooting, you should when you're rolling, you should put your camera the other way. And that way it fills up the long way. You're the long way, you should put it the wide way.
Like this?
Yes. Because then I believe it fills up more screen both ways, as long as you stay in the center. See? For somebody else. Do you see what I'm saying?
Okay. Well,
but you have to be in the center. Because if somebody is watching on their phone, they're going to get a sliver of you. Do you understand? But somebody watching on their computer is going to get the full width. So that's good. You're shooting this on your phone, correct? You're filming on your phone?
Right now, yes.
Yes, okay. Yeah, your computer camera will go more wide HD.
I think this was, Baruch Hashem, a good share, though.
Excellent.
Like a nice little balance, a little HaYom Yom, just one chapter of the Mimer to not make it overbearing, and a Baal Shem Tov story to finish it off.
Perfect.
Hey, you think this is a good idea? From now on, I do like a mixture of three things, like something simple, so it's not overbearing to the ADD crowd.
Yeah, it's great. I like that. And the Baal Shem Tov story is great.
Baal Shem Tov is the best example of Ahavas Yisroel. For those that don't know about the Baal Shem Tov, there was a time when all these Torah scholars were big, arrogant people. They were better than everybody, and they would not lift up their fellow Jew. If somebody was not Torah observant, if somebody was not a scholar like them, they wouldn't give them proper respect. So along comes the Baal Shem Tov, and he goes to the simple Jews, and he's so in awe of them because they don't even know what they're saying, and yet they're saying Tehillim, and he's like motivated, and he shows them love, and he teaches them Torah much loftier and deeper than all these big Talmidei Chachamim that think they're big shots. Through his Ahavas Yisroel, his Torah became 10 times more deep. If you think you really want to know Hashem and have the gates of heaven open up before you, you have to love your fellow Jew. That's what caused the Baal Shem Tov and all the Nishters before him, the big tzaddikim, to have all their knowledge. They loved their fellow Jew. Loving your fellow Jew will open up the channels of heaven to you. Not that you're trying to go to heaven, but we want the Torah to come down for us. We want to.
But when you open up the channels for them, you're opening up their heavenly channels.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's amazing.
Right now, the Baal Shem Tov came down to us when I read that story. The Baal Shem Tov story, I had with the Baal Shem Tov, you have that, and with this Mimer, you have the Rebbe Rashab with us, the fifth Lubavitcher Rebbe. Then when we do the HaYom Yom, we have the Rebbe and the Frierdiker Rebbe with us, and sometimes the Tzemach Tzedek and all the other Rebbeim that we're talking about. Like I feel like we had 5 Rebbeim with us tonight.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I wish everybody to have a successful week. Tomorrow there will be a shir by Rabbi Peel and Rabbi Freeman for Shulchan Shabbos. And Menachem Mordechai, I'd really think it would be good for you to go because we can't just always learn Chassidus. It's good to learn Nigla. And if you learn about Shabbos, maybe more people learning about Shabbos, everybody will keep Shabbos and Mashiach will come. L'chaim,
Yeah.
l'chaim. I'm going to end the share right now.